Hey everyone, I'm back. Sorry for the absence that I've had over the past few months. Well, let's get right into it. Today's race was the last race in the Netherlands, Zandvoort. Now, Zandvoort has had pretty good memories, and this one was like no other, especially after just lap, you could argue lap 2, because technically not everyone does a full lap except for the leaders, because it goes after the leaders how many laps they've done. So lap 1 goes normally. We have the safety car go and all sorts, and then they do the first lap, but they had to do it under the safety car because the track was partially wet. And then lap 2, which was probably the most chaotic lap in F1 history at this very track, near the end at around that corner towards the straight. So around that corner towards the straight, it ended in chaos for the driver at home, Max Verstappen. Max had collided into the wall to his far left. So what he did is he went on the banking, because if you look at the track, there's a massive banking that goes upward and then goes back down to flat. He went deep into the banking and he had collided, he collided into the barriers, and then his wheel, I think his back left, so his rear left, fell off and was just rolling along the right hand side of the track. He spun and managed to land pretty much in front of the pit entry. Now, that would have been problematic if it was anywhere closer, because 1, the pit entry would have been closed. 2, if he had got any closer, they would be able to red flag it, but not exactly. And 3, because if he got any closer, yes, it would be useful because Red Bull can just tow the car in, but it would have been harder because the rear left is gone. And then after that crash had happened, Liam Lawson, who was behind him in P7, I believe, had ended. He almost collided into Verstappen if he had not gone far right, and then the Audi of Gabriel Bortoleto had a massive spin, which caused not total blindness, but there was a lot of. It was hard for Nico Hulkenberg, who was Gabriel Bortoleto's teammate. It was hard for him to see because as soon as he had spun, there was a lot of air that was like very foamy, which led to Nico Hulkenberg almost colliding into his teammate, which would have been double trouble for Audi, because let's not remember, this is Audi's first season, so that would have been very problematic for Audi. But by some miracle, Nico managed to. So what happened was he was turning right as he was going to finish onto the straight, but then he managed to snap and turn left, which then led to him surviving and not colliding into Bortoleto, and both drivers managed to survive. Now, then that caused a red flag, because since Max had crashed, the red flag was immediately out, so everyone had to go into the pits, and we had to wait about 10 to 15 minutes for the race to restart and for the debris to go away. And then they were planning on doing a standing start, so they were going to do another formation lap. And as soon as they were exiting the pit lane to continue on to get to the start, somehow Ollie Berman's car had suffered a problem and had to park onto the side of the road. And then that led to them having to do another formation lap, and that was a bit problematic and a bit annoying for drivers like Norris and Antonelli, because they just wanted the race to go on. And since they had to do another one, they had to wait for the Haas to complete, to at least get out of the way. They got the Haas out of the way, and then they managed to continue racing. As the race went on, we had Oscar we had multiple tire changes. The ending, which I will get to eventually, the ending was pretty good, but the middle of the race was decent, especially because now that Tsunoda was back due to Isaac Hadjar suffering a wrist injury in a gym session that he had recently. So instead of Hadjar driving with Red Bull, it was Lawson got promoted, and then there was a space left for the Racing Bulls, so they managed to put in Tsunoda, which then ended as a pretty okay race for him, I guess, because Tsunoda ended in P13 at the end of the race. Lawson, which I am a bit confused about, because every time Lawson's had to step up into the Red Bull, it was due to someone having a wrist injury. The last time he stepped up in the Red Bull was when Daniel Ricciardo suffered a wrist injury. The second time he's had to step up in the Red Bull was when Hadjar just recently had a wrist injury, meaning Lawson had not completed a single season for one team yet. He still has yet to complete one season with just one team. And then Lawson had a pretty decent race, ending in P7. And since Lawson ended in P7, he was able to get some points for him. Tsunoda, I thought he was at least gonna get P10, but that didn't end well enough. And since the race was just continuing, Ocon had then suffered another problem, which then led to the third retire of the race out of 5. Ocon had to go onto the exit of turn 3, and then he had to stay onto the side. They were able to tow Ocon away into a safe area. And then Stroll, he just retired the car, and Nico Hulkenberg was able to okay. Stroll had to retire the car, then Albon had to retire the car, which led to the 5 retires of the race. And near the end, due to Ocon technically crashing, they had to do a VSC. Then near the very end of the race, there was some debris on the track due to both Williams colliding into each other, and that led to another VSC because there was debris on the track at that time. And then near the end of the race, it was Norris first, Kimi second, George third, and Hamilton 4th, which was kind of a problematic one because both George and Hamilton were quite close, because Hamilton was 0.8 of a second he missed the third place by 0.8 of a second, and Hamilton decided that he wanted to talk to the Ferrari about the race strategy at this Grand Prix, and he was particularly frustrated because he said that, oh, I have a better car and better tires, let me in front of Leclerc. However, they kind of did, but they didn't do it at the time as he had told them to. And then as soon as Leclerc got into the pits, Hamilton said, good job, well done, or wasting time, guys, or something similar to that. And it had frustrated Hamilton so bad that he was on quicker and more durable tires, and this led to Hamilton having to pit again because he was already on the hard, which he had 29 laps on. And since he had 29 laps on it, he had to swap for a softs. Near the end, I think all the top 5 finished on the softs. And then Hamilton told F1 TV after the race, I want to win, I'm here to win, but it is difficult when you are looking ahead and you see the two Mercedes drivers, they get the call and it's done. They execute it straight away. And that's what Hamilton said, and he thought that he could have been better if the Ferrari had listened to him earlier. Now, if the Ferrari had listened to him earlier, would he have gone on the podium? Probably. So, yeah, Hamilton, he's had a pretty good season so far, but I don't think he's going to get his 8th championship this year. He could get it next year, maybe. So I am thinking it will be a close battle for the races, and the next race after Zandvoort is Monza, which is also known as the Temple of Speed. So I will see you guys there. Bye bye.